Adam Brandley is founder and CEO of America's Real Deal and the independent stock market, and his website, ismclub.com, ismclub.com. Adam, thank you for joining us tonight.
You bet. Thank you, Jim.
Oh, absolutely. I'm hoping that you heard the Nadia Romero report there, and it would seem to me that there may, in fact, be any number of things which are worthwhile out there that there should be money for food stamps, state and local governments, hospitals, whatever. The bill in question was supposedly to help small businesses, in particular in regard to meeting payroll. And it would seem to me it would be helpful if we could take one issue at a time and not bury things under legislative barnacles. And I'm just curious your thoughts about that.
Well, certainly I agree as far as focusing on the small businesses. That is the engine that runs this country. Certainly I don't mean to belittle anybody else that needs, food stamps and the medical supplies and all of that. But I agree it's a stepping stone. This $349 billion is almost gone, according to experts. And so, it's an amazing situation that we're in now, and America needs some help. I had a friend of mine just tell me, where's the face mask for these small businesses? They're the ones that are needing protection from this harmful financial effects of the coronavirus, So
yeah,
it's a real situation.
It is very real, certainly. And, of course, we heard the anguished voice of that business owner talking about possibly losing his business, and goodness knows that's a tragedy that we certainly hope it doesn't happen. But that business owner in Atlanta, Kevin Clark, raised the question that he would love to talk to a business owner who's actually received some funds. I guess it was sort of my assumption that given the urgency of the hour that they must be getting them by now. We know that certainly the individual payments to the citizenry of the country, that they are going out through direct deposit. Have you heard anything as regards small business owners who need the money? Because let's face it, if I've got a payroll of a dozen people and I'm operating pretty much on the margins, which many small businesses are, if it shows up next month, well, that doesn't do me a whole lot of good.
No, you're exactly right. I do believe that they're hard at work trying to process. Imagine if tomorrow you've got to dole out $349 billion. That it's a big undertaking. They certainly weren't ready for it, and yet I think they're doing their best. And so I think within this next week you'll see money arriving in people's hands.
1-866-50-JIMBO, our number, 1-866-505-4626. What is America's Real Deal? Explain that, if you would.
Sure. It's a TV show. I'm sure you've watched the popular TV show Shark Tank. And we love that as entrepreneurs. We love that show. We decided to create something for not just those 5 sharks to be able to invest, but to allow America to invest. So America's Real Deal is a TV show that introduces entrepreneurs, but businesses that are creating revenue, have good management, are on their way, but need some extra capital. And so our hosts interview them, Kevin Harrington, who was an original shark, and Forbes Riley, she's like the queen of QVC and Home Shopping Network, and they interview these businesses, and then America downloads our app or goes to our website, americasrealdeal.com, and they can invest $100 or $250 or $1,000 into these private companies. So we're really excited.
Yeah. Well, it certainly sounds like a splendid idea. 1-866-50-JIMBO is our number. 1-866-505-4626. As we talk with Adam Brandley, where do you see America's Real Deal? By the way,
right now you can see it on Facebook Watch and YouTube, and within the week on Roku as well. And this is just our pilot season, giving it a go like most entrepreneurs. And yet we've created the systems to cooperate with the Securities and Exchange Commission. You know, when you're accepting monies from non-accredited investors, from the everyday American, there are other rules and compliance issues that you've got to take care of. So we make sure at ISM Club, we make sure that piece is taken care of. The companies wanting to raise money are completely compliant. And then we put them on the portal and we put them on the TV show.
Wow, pretty cool. And by the way, this comes at a time when there is some serious worry out there. There's been a lending tree survey of more than 1,200 small business owners. 71% of them cover from the downturn. I mean, that would be catastrophic. We are not in a position to be able to handle that much in the way of people who don't have jobs. I mean, we would have to do so somehow, but 71%. Now again, that's their fear. That doesn't mean that 71% of them are going to go under. But I'm curious your thoughts about that.
Well, it's very real, and I think those numbers are accurate. And the report also shows that 8 out of 10 of those businesses really have no idea where to get emergency funding. There's certainly now a lot easier approach to get with the SBA and try and get some of these loans. And a lot of people are taking out credit cards and so forth. And I always caution that. I think there are better ways to access capital. And one is your customer base, your fans. And through our process in having your customers invest in your business through legal means, as well as our friends and family and those members of our ISM club, now you have America investing in America.
1-866-50-JIMBO is our number, 1-866-505-4626. Adam Brandley is the founder and CEO of America's Real Deal, and the website is their name, americasrealdeal.com. And we're at 1-866-50-JIMBO. We're talking about small business, which was appropriately targeted in this big stimulus package. That was the idea. That was the grand overall design. But as they say, the devil is in the details. And we'll come back and we'll talk some more about that in just a moment. All right, calls for Adam Brandley, the founder and CEO of America's Real Deal, online at americasrealdeal.com. We're looking at small business and how well it is being helped out. And again, the key issue, I guess, is how well the government is doing what they say they're trying to do. And we have a call from Neil. He's in Bradford, Tennessee, to join us. Hello, Neil.
Hi, Jim. How are you tonight?
I'm well, thank you.
Good. I can give you a first-hand account of this, how this program has truly been a success, at least for one individual. I talked to a friend of mine earlier tonight. He's a small businessman and owns a very successful, independently owned pest control business. And he told me he got $77,000. And I asked him, I said, well, was it hard to get there? He said, yeah, it was a little hard, but I got the money. I told him, I said, well, you got in just in time, but it sounded like the well's about to run dry.
Interesting. I thought that when you had printing presses and big vats of green ink on 14th Street in Washington, that the well never ran dry, Adam.
Well, you know, there's a lot of truth to that. They can continue to print money, and they will. I'm glad that your friend was able to get that money, and you'll see more and more stories of that throughout this week. And there are concerns that, of course, that this $349 billion will be gone, and that's why they're trying to get this other $250 billion. And I think they'll get that around the first of the month. They're talking about reconvening by May 4th, and so I think they'll get that. And here's what's really happening. In the marketplace, we've been really manipulated over and over and over again. There's what's called short sales, where people can make money if a business fails. And they short the stock, distort the truth, and that stock falls, and then they make the spread, and the person who bought high is stuck with a stock that's now deflated value. And if you take a look at that and you look at what happened in our market, that's really based on manipulation, fear, and greed, unfortunately. You see what happened in China. They lost less than 9% when the coronavirus hit them the hardest. And yet, in our market, the Dow Jones went from 30,000 to 19,000. That's dramatic. And that's not to do just with the coronavirus. It's about manipulation. And so if you were a company on Wall Street and you were being shorted, then the only way to save your business is to have these cash reserves over here that you buy back the stock and create more confidence with your business. And so likewise with the American economy, this coronavirus has shorted the economy through manipulation on Wall Street and through fear. Through media and just word of mouth and social media and everything. So what did the U.S. government have to do? They had to start printing money, go into their reserves, so to speak, and buy back that confidence and support. And you see they're going to do another $250 billion, and they're going to do more. You'll see probably another $1 trillion or more before this is done, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's no question. I think absolutely. I would thoroughly agree. I mean, again, you do what you have to do, and what we have done, as massive as it is, just isn't enough. And again, the problem of the national debt is not this back to the wall kind of desperation Hail Mary pass. The problem is all those years of just dumping things on the national debt, the gross national credit card, because it was handy and our kids and our grandkids could worry about it. That was the crime. To John in Webster City, Iowa next. Hello, John.
So I've started a couple of businesses in my life, and they've done pretty well, and I've been getting ready to do another one. And so I'm looking at the horizon, and I'm generally an optimistic person, but I got to be a realist too. And so Jim Bohannon says we're probably going to print another 10 trillion coming up within a short range of time. And so I'm just wondering who's going to actually be left holding the bag for this thing? Myself, my employees. I mean, when is this thing actually going to start having to be paid back? The service on the debt, payroll taxes. I mean, isn't it really just a big mess waiting to happen? So I'm really taking pause about if I want to be, I hate to say a victim, but if I'm going to put all this energy and investment of hope in the rest of my life into another business, I mean, 10 trillion and then this pattern of just more and more and more, eventually somebody is going to be left holding the bag.
Well, that's very true. Again, I think the important point to remember is that this immediate problem has to be done. The problem is all that other indebtedness. I mean, if we had treated the national debt the way it ought to be treated, then our total national indebtedness wouldn't be 24 trillion. It'd be maybe 4 or 5 trillion. Adam?
Well, yeah, what a great question. And I think you answer it really well. Here you have all this debt. And, of course, in the middle of March, the Federal Reserve lowered the interest rate from 1 to 0. But the reality is that we have the right to print our own money at zero cost, at zero debt. The problem is it dilutes, just like if you were to issue new stock, it dilutes your balance sheet. If you're a businessman, you said that, John, you said you've had successful businesses, you know your balance sheet. And if you were a public company, if you issue new stock, you better make sure that that new stock that you print buys something of value. And so in like manner, the U.S. government is printing stock. They're printing money. And that's got to build value. Unfortunately, also like public companies, they print stock and sell it to shore up a business where they should only be buying assets. And so we have a real situation here. Yes, there's debt. yes, there are strategic financial strategies that the government and experts can put together to reduce the debt and shore up the balance sheet of America, and that's really what needs to take place.
Yeah, it certainly does. And for the record, by the way, if you go to usdebtclock.org, as we speak live, the U.S. national debt is officially $24,240,458,000,000, and the 100,000s go by too fast to count. Back in a moment. Glad you're with us on the Jim Bohannon Show. As we're talking with the founder and CEO of America's Real Deal. You can watch that on Facebook Watch or YouTube at americasrealdeal.com, 1-866-50-JIMBO. And we're looking at how well our efforts are going towards small business. The government has made the effort, and we're looking at just how accurately they have proceeded. Here's Joe in Kent, Ohio. Hi, Joe.
How you doing? Good evening.
We're well.
I am a food truck owner, and while I do have subcontractors or 1099 employees or workers, whatever you want to call, I don't find that a person like myself who does generate income, generate revenue, generate taxes, I don't find that there's anything out there except the SBA loan for a person like me in this situation. I don't qualify for unemployment. While the unemployment, they're also going to get their extra $600 in Ohio. I don't qualify for any of this, and I kind of find myself having to kind of go out there and hustle and kind of take myself at risk with the coronavirus a little bit, and trying to survive. But I don't find there's any programs for me, and I kind of wanted to discuss that a little bit with you.
Okay. Is Joe one of those who fell through the cracks, Adam?
Well, certainly the PPP, the Paycheck Protection Program, was designed to help those with employees and some basic operation costs. But there are some other ones. There's the expansion loans. It's the third model in the loan package that allows companies like his to get some express loans up to, I think it was $5 million. So there are some, and then of course if they have economic injury, which it doesn't certainly sound like with the trucking company, should be moving along pretty good, but there are some grants that they can apply for in addition to the Paycheck Protection Program. So there are other options out there, but I'll tell you, there are other ways to raise money. There's private equity firms, there's venture capital firms, and then there's processes like us where you can have the American people invest in your business. For example, we have 8 great companies that were on our show here this season. And if Jim, if you had just 1,000 of your audience members go in and put $100 in each one of those companies, they'd all have $100,000 of capital, not debt, but capital. And then those 1,000 people would be ambassadors telling, hey, I own a piece of this business, and telling people about it. Because that is what really can jumpstart America, is people investing in people again. So there are other ways. I would love to talk with him offline. There's certainly, I don't know if, Joe, have you ever raised money from private equity, venture capital, or through crowdfunding?
I am aware of that, but I'm talking about in the situation right now. I own a food truck, not a trucking company, and
I see. Okay.
So,
okay.
Yeah, a food truck. Yeah, so I'm a sole proprietor. While there are people underneath me with like 1099 or whatever, but I'm a sole proprietor. I don't fall under. I don't really qualify. As Jim said, I feel like I fall through the cracks.
Well, even sole proprietor under the Paycheck Protection Program, you can qualify. Subcontractors, 1099 people can. You can be part of it. You just work through the SBA, work through your bank. You can actually keep your business going. Now, remember, this is like a 2.5 month loan. It's not going to carry you for the next year, but it's amazing with your food truck that you're not doing Do you have drive-through capabilities with your food truck?
Well, listen, it's not as simple as you think to just set up a takeout or delivery operation. People are still skittish.
Right.
It's not. And come to you. Right now I'm at truck stops. I'm in the state of Ohio. Yeah, I'm doing food truck stops because I'm in the state of Ohio. I have a special permit. But I do a Polish food truck, so I was in a Polish neighborhood. I was able to capitalize that through Lent. But quite frankly, if it wasn't for Lent being Polish and capitalizing on my ethnicity, I probably wouldn't have survived the last couple weeks. But even, we're being allowed to set up truck stops, which aren't known to be a place you pull over for food. So it's kind of where we don't know a lot of food trucks. We don't know what to do. Our season's already canceled. A lot of our major events are already done. So, what are we going to do in the long term? So we really are kind of out there, as Jim said, having fallen through the cracks. I believe that industry has definitely fallen through the cracks.
Well, we are sorry to
meet with the SBA and meet with your bank. It's unfortunate that like even delivery, that kind of thing isn't working. So it's tough. You're exactly right. You're in a tough spot. But here's really what's happened, and it's hard, to acknowledge. I mean, we're optimistic entrepreneurs. I mean, you went to work and build a food truck and several of them, and you're hiring people, and it's tough to really think that things are as bad as they are. It's like I was telling my brother, he loves running marathons, and it's like all of us as entrepreneurs, business owners, we're running this marathon, and some people are at the front and some people are at the end. We're all just trying to make it through. But what most people don't know that aren't entrepreneurs is the effort and work and training to get going on that marathon just to begin with, and then all the problems in between that long stretch. But here we are running this marathon, and in blood, sweat, and tears, and all of us at once were hit by this bus, and that's a tough thing. And now we have to think about survival, not just thriving or getting to the finish line, but actually survival. And it's tough. So I pray for you. Happy to help you. Go talk to the SBA, talk to your bank, and God bless you. And just talk to your team members, all your advisors, put together a long-term plan, and talk to your investors and your creditors, and let them know, and see if they will feel your heart and your passion and your dream, and be patient with you.
Good luck to you, Jim. Joe, 1-866-50-JIMBO, our number, 1-866-505-4626. Tom in Pittsburgh should call back if you're still out there, and we'll get you on. More to come on the Bohannon Show, 1-866-50-JIMBO, 1-866-505-4626. Has the small business portion of the bailout helped you? Back in a moment. Welcome back to the Jim Bohannon Show at 1-866-50-JIMBO, 1-866-505-4626. We're talking with Adam Brandley. He's the founder and CEO of America's Real Deal. Let's say that a small business owner would like to be a part of your program. How do they go about doing that?
Well, Jim, they go to americasrealdeal.com, and there's an apply button. They just click that apply button, fill out the application. We're looking for companies in revenue because we want to protect the investors. So they need to be in revenue. They need to have experience in the industry. We want them to have something, of course, unique that has the potential to scale, so that as investors jump in, it's not just a small little business, but it has the potential to really grow nationwide and maybe even worldwide.
Fair enough. Again, it's a remarkable idea, and I certainly commend you for the work that you're putting forward in this. Now then, in terms of the small business owners with whom you speak, are they all as pessimistic as that Lending Tree survey would indicate? 71% of them worried they may never recover? Or do you think that survey is representative of all businesses?
I think it's a good sampling. Certainly, this is unprecedented in my lifetime, and I think in the history, of the United States, where it's just come to a stop, and really pushed on by the government. And so there's a lot of emotions. There are a lot of concerns. I think it's important to stay optimistic. I think, one of my friends said, maybe we need to act like these wind-up dolls in the olden days and just wind up and wind up and wind up and get ready. And then once we're ready to go, we're ready with new ideas and new visions and new, a new pivot of direction, and boom, off we go. Then we let go, and we're off to the races. But there is a true pause here that is letting the entrepreneur really evaluate themselves, meet their partners, their investors, their customers, and really determine, is this their dream that they started with? And do they have a plan that they want to live with and make a difference in the world? I love your tweets, by the way, because what you do is just help us smile. This tweet of yours that said, our thoughts and prayers are going out to all the husbands who've been telling their wives, I'll do that when I have time.
Oh.
I laughed for a long time, Jim. I mean, your tweets are just great. We need to remember to have fun and to laugh, and because what hurts our immune system more than even
I appreciate
the virus is,
I appreciate that. By the way, you can follow me on Twitter at Jimbo Talks, as we go to Kathy in Akron, Ohio. Hi.
Hi. I just have a comment on everybody's saying a lot about the federal government, and my daughter has a small home care company, which I am a nurse for, and it's affecting all aspects, even the ones that should be doing well. Everything comes down from the federal level to the state level, and that level is also broken because that's supposed to, from the state level, be dispersed to local level. And we, as for an example, were in need of gloves and masks, and we were told to contact the local health department. The health department had no idea that they were supposed to do something like that. They recommend you contact the area of aging. They say to contact Medicaid. Medicaid says to contact the local health department. And even in healthcare, it's not that we're looking for a handout for supplies. We can buy our supplies. The supplies just are not there to buy.
That's a sad commentary. Adam, anything you have for Kathy?
Well, Kathy, I can't speak to that as far as your specific situation, but I can tell you that that if you continue with that same perseverance of calling here and calling there, you will get to the right people. Just hang with it. There are more and more products being manufactured, and somebody maybe on this call, on this radio station will say, you know what, I can help. So that's what America does. They reach out. It's like what you talked about, Jim, with 1.6 million meals fed the other day by your affiliate there. Kathy, I'm sorry you're going through this. I know, you got your heart and soul into this home care business. You're caring for people, and wow, we need people like you. So stick with it. Stay tough. Make that extra call. Make that extra call. Maybe call the governor's office. Just do everything you can. Call the mayor's office. Call the governor's office. Call your congressman. Find out. Someone will help you.
Perseverance does count. It does count. 1-866-50-JIMBO, and back with more in a moment. Welcome back to the Jim Bohannon Show at 1-866-50-JIMBO. We're talking with the founder and CEO of AmericasRealDeal.com. You can watch that program at Facebook Watch and on YouTube. And I note, among other things from this Lending Tree survey, that 47% of small business owners have taken on debt to keep their businesses going. And that's probably necessary in many of those cases. Of course, that in and of itself is kind of a slippery slope, is it not? I mean, you can't go too deeply in debt.
You're exactly right. I've never been a big fan of debt. Sometimes, it's a necessary evil, but I always prefer equity because now you have partners that understand, oh, hey, here's a rough couple of months, right? Well, with creditors, they're like, hey, it's the first of the month. I need my payment. Where an investor, you can say, look, we're having a couple tough months. So this year may not turn out as good as the ones in the past. And they're much more forgiving than creditors are, who can come in and take your collateral and, take your home. And so I've always been a fan of equity, when possible.
Well, yeah, when possible, I would agree totally. Again, not always possible, of course. Now then,
right.
We also are told that of those 47% who've taken on debt, another 34% have tried to take on debt, but they were not approved. Which I guess that's if you need the loan, even if that in and of itself is tricky and dangerous, but not getting it, that's even worse.
That's worse. And of course, those who do get it, do they have the cash flow because of the situation to pay the payments on the debt? So it is difficult. And that's why I like what we've done is said, look, reach out through our funding model. You can reach out to America, you reach out to your customers and your friends and your family and explain to them all the risks that they could lose their money, that this is a high-risk deal. But now what's really important, Jim, is before investing in private companies was only available to the rich. So the rich got richer. You put $100 in Twitter and, before it went public and you made $159,000. But you put $100 into Twitter when it was public and you make $226. That's $159,000 difference. And so what we've done is we've leveled that playing field. We love the rich getting richer, but we're saying, hey, let's everybody get rich. Let's everybody have more financial stability and have that opportunity to have those big wins. I mean, it's not just one company. I mean, there are 159 companies like that turned into $1 billion, and there's over 8,000 companies recently that are worth now over $100 million. So now America can jump in early before those companies go public and get that 1 times, 5 times, 100 times, 1,000 times, 10,000 times on their money by investing early on in companies that they believe have a chance for success. And that's why diversification is so important.
Yeah. Should more companies go public?
I think at the right time when they understand it, but I am not a fan of Wall Street only because there are those who manipulate the market and they make money when people lose money, and so they'll short the stock. Now, shorting was designed to help create liquidity and to kind of hedge your bet. But unfortunately now, people are creating websites and saying, hey, I'm going to short this stock, and then they distort the truth. Oh, that business owner didn't get the contract, and they just send out these rumors. The stock falls. That baby, you talk about these people that we just had on the phone. Imagine them going public. They built their business up till they went public, and then some manipulators came in and spread rumors and dropped that stock from $32 to $12. They made the spread, but who wins? Only that manipulator. The person who bought that stock thinking it was going to grow, right, loses, and that business owner that built that baby.
They may come up with a short end. Stay on the line. We'll speak off air. That is Adam Brandley. And again, he's from AmericasRealDeal.com. I'm Jim Bohannon. And of course, we come to you weeknights right here at Westwood One.